Hello, and thanks for joining us to watch the following presentation on the Fairfax County Draft Fiscal Year 2021 Moving to Work Plan. The intent of this presentation is to provide a quick update and review of key features included in the draft plan. This presentation also discusses how Fairfax County is moving forward with the plan, especially as we adjust efforts due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Members of the Resident Advisory Committee have provided valuable feedback and input on the MTW plan over the years, so we first off want to thank you for your time and input. As you know, the primary purpose of the RAC is to provide the RHA with resident input with respect to the Moving to Work plan, so we hope this presentation provides a synopsis of our plan efforts over the course of the next few months. Under normal circumstances, we would meet with you in person to review the MTW plan. However, due to the pandemic, we're providing this document to you in a virtual format. We're asking that you review this presentation and then please look at the full draft FY21 MTW plan. The full plan has been posted to the HCD website, and the link to the plan is included in the email that RAC members received. As always, we appreciate your support and value your input on the plan. During this presentation, we wanted to take a moment to review the following: a reminder of what is included in the draft Moving to Work plan, changes that have occurred since this spring due to the COVID-19 pandemic, highlights of the draft plan including new proposed activities, and the timeline and next steps for submitting the MTW plan to HUD. To begin with, we wanted to quickly review the major sections of the draft MTW plan. This is the same document that the RAC was asked to review earlier this spring. However, the plan has been changed slightly in response to the COVID pandemic, and we therefore feel it's necessary to have your input on this updated version. As in previous years, the drafted FY2021 plan includes the following sections: general information on the Housing Authority, descriptions of proposed MTW activities where HUD approval is requested. This year we'll have 3 new activities that are proposed. Updates on MTW activities that have been implemented, information on MTW activities that are not yet implemented, those on hold, and those that are closed out, and the source and use of funds. Before we begin to talk more specifically about the drafted FY 2021 plan, we wanted to take a step back and review some of the changes that have occurred to our current MTW plan due to the COVID-19 pandemic. These changes occurred this spring under authority provided to the RHA by HUD. In March of 2020, HUD notified MTW agencies of their ability to submit technical amendments to their current MTW plans. Amendments were important in providing the flexibility necessary to adapt to a rapidly evolving environment due to the pandemic, particularly on the need to reduce face-to-face meetings between staff and households and to reduce administrative complexities. HUD approved the technical amendments in April. The full FY 2020 plan, including amendments, can be found on the Fairfax County website. Key changes in the technical amendments include changing recertifications for non-work-abled households from 3 years to every 5 years, moving to triennial inspections for some units, and excluding asset income for families with assets under $50,000 and accepting self-certifications from households with these assets. Other changes in the amendments included accepting documentation that's up to 120 days old, accepting self-certifications from program participants with income decreases during the COVID pandemic, and simplifying medical disability expense deductions by allowing for self-certifications of expenses up to $1,000. Along with the modifications allowed through the technical amendment, HUD also issued a notice outlining waivers that all local housing authorities could adopt. Many of these waivers provided additional flexibility to housing authorities in response to the pandemic. In April, the RHA adopted many of these waivers that apply to the Housing Choice Voucher Program. A second notice of waivers was also just issued at the beginning of July by HUD. These are currently under review and will be adopted as needed. Importantly, as a result of the waivers, the RHA was able to extend the submission of the FY 2021 Moving to Work plan. The annual MTW plans are normally due to HUD in April, but this has been extended through the end of September due to COVID. We would like to take a few minutes now to review some of the key highlights in the drafted FY 2021 MTW plan. Included in the draft plan are 3 new proposed activities. The first activity is to address hoarding. Hoarding is a significant problem in the RHA's programs, especially among older adults. The RHA is proposing to set aside funds to assist with organization and cleanup services to help address this issue. The goals of this proposed activity will be to, first of all, address the mental health aspect of hoarding. Second, to remediate the hoarding situation quickly to ensure the safety of the residents, their surrounding communities, and help prevent eviction. And third, to ensure that the RHA meets housing quality standard requirements in a timely and efficient manner. The second new proposed activity is in support of the county's goal of increasing the stock of affordable housing. As you might be aware, the county, in partnership with the RHA, has set a goal to produce 5,000 new affordable housing units in 15 years and to ensure no net loss of existing affordable housing units. The RHA is proposing to utilize MTW single fund flexibility to help with the acquisition and development costs of affordable units. Use of these funds will require a thorough financial analysis prior to the commitment to a project. The overall intent of utilizing single fund flexibility is to help the county reach the 5K by 15 goal. The third new proposed activity pertains to the RAD PBV program. Historically, the RHA has had trouble leasing its RAD units. For a new applicant to be eligible to lease a RAD unit, their income must be low enough to generate a housing assistance payment, or a HAP. The rents for the RAD units are currently set at levels well below market, which means that households must have an income level significantly less than 30% AMI to be eligible to lease. Therefore, the RHA is requesting to modify the emission requirement so that new, otherwise eligible participants be allowed to lease up in the program, even if they do not generate a HAP but are below the federal income level for the program. The other significant change to the drafted FY21 MTW plan is regarding the payment standards activity. As you may recall, in 2019, the MTW plan included a new activity to establish a local Fairfax County payment standard for the HCV program using current local rental market data. The initiative was implemented in 2 phases. Phase 1 decoupled Fairfax County from the HUD fair market rents and established our own local payment standard that applies to the whole county. This was implemented in March of last year. Phase 2 pertains to developing a new local payment standard that better reflects the complexity of the rental market and the differences in rent within our county. The new payment standard is intended to provide different subsidy amounts depending on where in the county a household is renting. This will hopefully foster greater residential mobility and provide households with more purchasing power. Prior to the COVID pandemic, HCD anticipated implementing Phase 2 in this fiscal year and setting payment standards at the sub-county level. However, due to the weak economy and volatility in the rental market, Phase 2 will not be implemented at the present time. Even in normal times with a strong economy, there is inherent unpredictability when implementing payment standards. Therefore, we feel that implementation of this activity during the middle of a national recession and a global health crisis would not be prudent. However, HUD is expecting a methodology for our local payment standards, so we're planning on requesting approval for only the methodology, but we'll come back to the implementation phase at a later date. The remaining sections of the draft FY2021 MTW plan remain similar to previous years. The information includes updates to implemented activities, financial information, and administrative documents required by HUD. So we wanted to take a few minutes and discuss the timeline and next steps for the draft MTW plan. The following are key dates. The public comment period for the plan is open from July 16th through August 14th. A public hearing on the plan will be held on July 30th. On September 24th, we'll be seeking approval of the draft plan from the RHA, and then the MTW plan will be submitted to HUD on September 30th. So what are the next steps? Again, under normal circumstances, we would meet with you in person to review the document. We appreciate your time in reviewing this online presentation in lieu of meeting in person and ask that you please take a moment to review the full draft FY2021 MTW plan located on the county's website as listed here. Please submit any comments to Linda Hoffman by August 14th. As in years past, we will be asking the RAC to provide a letter of support on the plan as well, so thank you in advance. We value your input and time, and we really appreciate any comments you may have. Thank you again for your time. Stay safe, and we look forward to when we can meet again in person.